Good morning, everybody. Boy, what a difference a week makes. Last week it was 14 below zero Fahrenheit. And today it's going to be almost 60, sun shining, no wind, and it feels so much better. Here's the girls, kind of heading out to the pasture, are you girls? Our little baby. Yeah, a little bottle baby. What are you doing, huh? How you doing? Yes. I hear the neighbor kids, yeah. All right, guess what? The other night, we did ultrasounds the other night. And this one right here, bottle baby here, was the one I was a little worried. She came up open last time, but she does show bred now. Everybody shows bred. We are 100%. Now, as far as singles, doubles, triples, you can see when you're doing ultrasounds like this, when they're this far along, it is hard to see. You can see there's something in there, but as far as seeing multiples, a lot of times one gets in the way of another one. And with that situation, you really can't tell. Do you got singles? Do you got twins? Do you got triplets? What do you have? It's a little too late in the cycle to start being able to pick out numbers. That is best done at about 45 days. And in our case, well, we are about just a little over a month away, probably about 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. A year ago, or in 2023, the Rams went in on October 13th, and the first ewe to lamb was March 11th. This year, they went in again October 13th, so we're going to pick March 11th as our date when we think maybe we're going to get started here. At least that's kind of the idea to go with. So right now we're sitting right at the 1st of February, so 5 weeks, maybe 5 to 6 weeks, and we should be ready to go. So considering that, what do you need to have on hand for lambing? What do you want to keep around so you've got something on hand? What are you going to need? So I got my medical box in the barn. Let's go in the barn. We'll kind of go through some of the stuff I like to keep on hand. All right, so what do we need to keep on hand for lambing? I've got what I call my medical box, everything I put in. I used to have a different box. That one's going to get used for a battery box now. I'm going to put a new one here, hold a little more stuff. Basically, it really isn't a ton of stuff that's necessary for lambing. There's not a lot to have on hand. One thing I'd have gloves, I'd have lube, just in case you got to go in to get one every once in a while. I have to admit, with Painted Desert, I have yet had to go in and fish out a lamb. Knock on wood if I had some around. I had a black belly ewe before we did the Painted Desert, and that one had to do that one either once or twice. She was notorious for having triplets, one bigger than the other two, and it's usually that one was backwards. And that was 2 years in a row we did that. So you have that situation, so it's nice to have gloves, have some lube in case you got to go get one. Walmart baby section, a booger puller, or whatever they're called, little booger suction cup. That can help. You get a lamb that's got its nose all plugged up, that'll work. I do have, in case, I have a setup in case I have to tube one. So I do have a setup here in case you end up having to tube one. You hope you don't have to do that. Can't say I've had to. I think I've had this for years and never used it. I don't think I've used. Again, I think we did one on when I had the mouflons. I think I tried doing one there. Didn't do any good. One other thing, and it doesn't have to necessarily be this brand, but colostrum. You need some colostrum on hand. I don't buy, I used to have to, I had a bottle feed every year because I had one of the triplets and she only had, Dub only had one good side and he always had triplets. So I'm always bottle feeding, but I never really bothered to go out and buy milk replacer until we got to that point. This I buy and I always have on hand. This one's still dated. It's good till, well, that's a manufacturer's date. So I bought this one last year, so it should still be okay for this year anyway. You want to have some colostrum because you really need that now. You need it. You can't wait till tomorrow. So this is something I always have. I want to have on hand. You can't wait 12 or 24 hours to go get the stuff. You need it when you need it. And if you got a lamb that's born at 2 in the morning, you need colostrum at 2 in the morning, not at 9 o'clock the next, later that morning. Otherwise, some paper towel. I've gone to like a thrift store and bought hand towels, or like you have for a bathroom or around your kitchen. I buy a bunch of those real cheap at a thrift store, or you can buy them cheap at Walmart for that matter. And I keep a bag of those, so I have towels to wipe off lambs if I need. And to be honest, I wipe them off and I toss them away. And I figured, why not? I'm buying them for 50 cents or 75 cents a piece. It doesn't really pay to, I'm just going to stick them in my washing machine and try to clean them up. It isn't worth that. But have a few towels on hand. I've seen people have iodine. Have a bottle of iodine. They can dip the navel in iodine. I can't say I've done that, but I know a lot of people do. The basic rest of the kit, there's syringes and there's needles for worming. You got stuff like that to trim feet. There's always odds and ends, things you can have. One thing you have for a lamb, thermometer. Have one where you can take a temperature, because you need that lamb warm before, if you find one and he's cold and you want to either tube him and or feed him, you need his body temperature up first. You try to tube or feed a cold lamb, you probably end up killing them instead. All right, so a thermometer to tell what their temperature is, so know they get them up to the right temperature before you try to feed them. So nice to keep that on hand. Otherwise, that's about it. There's odds and ends in here. There really isn't a lot. Them gals are pretty good about taking care of their own and birthing their own. I haven't really had any problems, but I like a towel to dry them off, help mom a little dry them off, especially if it's really cold. I like to, just in case I got to get the boogers out, I've had a few of them. It sure beats swinging them around, something like this to suck that out. And like I said, the glove and the colostrum, that's about it. I really don't think you need a giant kit full of a bunch of stuff. And I'm sure there's people tell you, no, you got to have some of this on hand. You want to have some of that on hand. And maybe you do, but man, I use so little stuff. The biggest thing I use in lambing season are towels. I'd have to say that's it. I don't know if I've used this since I've had it. I haven't had to pull one, so I haven't needed the gloves, but you want to have them. So the only thing I've really used are towels to help wipe them off a little if I need to, and colostrum if I need to feed them. I guess for me, that would be my most important 2 items, because it's the only 2 I've really used. As I said, I'm sure other people have a lot of other things they may use. Look around some other videos, you might find something else, but that's what I do. All right, we did this one. If you watched the last video, you saw I did the battery deal. I got something new going on that battery box. It'll come out in a couple weeks probably. I'm putting the pieces together. It amazes me sometimes how hard it is to buy a few things locally that you really want to. And today I went with, can I have a red battery cable about this long? No, can't buy that. Not anywhere that I could buy it, and I went to 6 different places. 2 of them were auto parts, a couple farm stores, Walmart, and a Menards. Nah, not what I wanted to have anyway. So, but next week, I think, or a couple weeks from now, I'm going to show you that, because I think that can be very useful around the place. And probably shortly after that, let me grab the camera. There we go. Shortly after that, it's going to be about time to bring out the lambing pins. About time to bring these out. If you're a new subscriber, haven't been around since last year, I lined these up along this wall. From this wall here to that door is 20 feet. And those are two 10-foot sections, so I end up with 4 lambing pins that are about 6 foot by 5 foot. I know people call them jugs. I don't call them jugs, they're lambing pins. I get my milk in a jug. Those are lambing pins. So how they ever started out with lambing jugs, I'll never know, but I call them lambing pins. So anyway, we will probably be setting those up. We should be getting close enough to the 1st of March that maybe by that video, we'll be setting these up and I'll show you the lambing pins all set up. And after that, we're gonna be having babies. And I am ready for new babies again. So, all right, that's all I got this time. I will see you in a few weeks with a video on the new battery box we're building to be used around the farm. We'll see you then.